Jared Wayne really stepped up in the last game and just kind of made his presence known. I mean, what have you been seeing from him the past couple of weeks?
Yeah, I mean, he had the little injury that set him back for a couple of weeks, but I was expecting that. Really after the Duke game, I thought he would have a chance to make some strides, and obviously this time, he's finally healthy, finally ready to make some plays, and I think he's been waiting to kind of break out. It's just been an opportunity.
I mean, a lot of your receivers are kind of 5'11", 6 foot. I mean, he presents something different that you maybe didn't have before, right?
Oh, no question. He's a bigger target. And he's a guy that's easy to find in the middle of the field. And he's just a really smooth athlete. He does a lot of things just effortlessly. So he's got a lot of upside, I think.
He had that one play deep over the middle that kind of went right through his.
Mm-hmm.
Was he kicking himself on Sunday film?
All of us were, because that was the easy. That's one that you set it up, play after play to try to get it, and then he just didn't get his head around quick enough, so the ball kind of was on him, a little quicker than he thought. But obviously the game's a little faster than it is in practice, so one of those things you're disappointed. But I mean, he'll learn from it and he'll make it the next time.
How do you think your guys responded without Maurice out there?
I think they responded well. I think the whole time, we've lost a lot of guys, with Trey going down, and he was the leader of the room, really, and then, then you lose Frenchie. That's, those things, guys know the next guy's up, and, I don't have a lack of confidence, really, in any of them. So to me it was, hey, next guy, it's your turn, take advantage of the opportunity. I think all of them were looking forward to having an opportunity. Obviously, we want Frenchie to come back as quick as possible, but with that said, I think those guys responded well.
Pat said yesterday that Jared was the next best option after once French started had his issues, and that Jared would have played in 5 games earlier that if he hadn't been nicked up. I mean, when did he first show you guys that he was able to produce at this level?
In the summer, like during camp, realized he was a lot better than maybe I thought he was, or ahead of that, and then he moved ahead of some guys that I didn't foresee that happening during camp. The first couple games, it was kind of he played 10, 12 reps, get your feet wet, and then obviously he made a catch in the Duke game and had a couple targets in that game, and then the next game we're going to try to feature him a little bit more, and he pulled a hamstring or whatever in practice, and so it was one of those deals where it set him back momentarily, but I think really from the beginning of the year we kind of knew he had a chance to be pretty good.
Did you think before that? So I guess when you say summer, do you mean like August?
In August in the training camp.
And before camp, were you guys expecting him to redshirt?
I was, yes.
Okay.
My thought really going in was, we had a veteran, group of guys. I felt like those guys would be, in front, and then you had a couple guys that you wanted to try to build and bring along to where you got some depth. But Jared showed early, that he could grasp the playbook, which I was a little bit surprised, especially because usually that's a mid-year guy that can do that because he's been through spring, but he was able to pick it up pretty quick.
In your experience as a high school coach and in college, how difficult is it for a freshman wide receiver to actually make an impact?
It's hard. I mean, it doesn't happen that often. A lot of people think, you're just going to go out there and do your thing. But it's, the verbiage of a system, especially ours, where you run a lot of different things with a lot of different formations. It's hard. Everywhere I've been where the really successful freshmen were guys that you could have packages for, like Tavon Austin, you had a package for him, and then you built it as the season went along. But it's hard for a guy just to say, okay, I'm going to learn the X and all the things that go in it, and it's not a package, it's just the full playbook. That's hard to do.
Everyone knows about Shockey's speed, but where can he kind of take that next step and improve it in his game?
He just needs some patience. Like he's one of those guys that he's fast and he knows he's fast, so he does everything fast. And so it's always like, I always joke, I was like, slow down, grasshopper. I'm trying to teach him to just be patient, because I think he's got a lot of potential, but he does everything fast, whether it's, talking fast, running fast, everything is just fast. So, you just want him to slow down a little bit, because we had a chance on a double move the other night, and he just went so fast that he's on top of the guy, doesn't give him a chance to freeze his feet. So those little things that he's learning, and really for him it's just been a matter of health more than anything. It's just getting healthy.
Kenny's, not afraid to spread the ball around. He'll throw it to different guys, but it seems right away like he and Shockey kind of have a connection. Do you kind of see that with those two?
Yeah, they do. You know, I mean, they've hooked up a lot in practice, you know, and it's one of those things. He knows he can throw it out there, and Shockey can run and go get it. You know, he's probably the one guy on the team that you'd say, hey, you know, it's hard to overthrow him. You know, so, you know, that's comforting for a quarterback. You know, no, just let it go and let him go get it. So, you know, I think those guys have always Kenny's really had a rapport really with all the guys. You know, he's the leader of the offense, obviously. And so I always look at it as our job to have a rapport with him, you know, because he's the one that's throwing the ball. And that's what I tell, you know, being a former receiver, say, make sure you have a rapport with the quarterback, not him a rapport with you. And those guys take to that.
Jared went to Clearwater Academy. Was that just his senior year in high school?
Yes.
How important is that for a kid to actually leave his traditional high school to play at a specialty place like that?
I don't know. You know, I haven't had a lot of experience with that, so I think it helps him. He's a real mature kid. I mean, he's, you know, 18, 19, going on 28, 29. You know, he's really mature beyond his years. But I'm not sure how much that helps or hurts. Obviously, being away kind of get away from being homesick. So that's one thing that you don't have to worry about when they come to college.
Chris, traditionally, Virginia Tech is known for secondary. They've produced some great players out of there. How about this year's version? What have you noticed from them on tape?
They're the same. You know, they've got a bunch of ball hawks. You know, Coach Foster's done a great job. I've known Coach Foster since I was 14 years old. So, you know, he's always been the same. He coaches those guys up, and they've got some guys in the back end that can run, and they're long and athletic and play the ball really well. I mean, they're among the leaders in the conference in interceptions. I think, you know, number 3 is leading in interceptions, and Waller's right behind them. So they've got a great group. They always do, and we know it's going to be a battle.
What's the history there with Bud Foster?
Bud actually recruited me when I was in high school, so he had Northern Virginia. He's had Northern Virginia for 30 years, you know, or something like that. So, you know, I've known him a really long time. You know, he's a good mentor towards me. I've been a big mentor towards me when I was a high school coach, and even when I've been a college coach.
When you were a high school coach, I mean, would you reach out to him? Would he reach out to him?
Well, both. You know, he'd recruit some of our players, and then I would always go see him. You know, and then they used to do the little, when you go around the state and do clinics and stuff, and Bud was always gracious. He'd, you know, give me time, he knew I had a bunch of questions, so he'd block off time for me. He's always just a great guy towards me.
He recruited you as a 14-year-old? You must have been pretty good.
15. But I knew him when I was 14 because he was recruiting the guys in front of me.
Mm-hmm. You didn't go there, though, right?
No.
Where'd you go?
East Tennessee State.
Why didn't you go to Virginia Tech?
I wouldn't get enough.
Oh. Okay.
I know a kid's not going to pick a school off, you know, one head-to-head game, but, you know, recruiting in the state of Virginia, does this game mean something, like what you're trying to tell kids?
No, I think, you know, anytime we play Virginia Tech, it means something because those guys are, you know, they lead in the state, you know, so it's, you know, you want to be able to go in and say, hey, here's how we compete with those guys, give yourself a chance to be on even footing with them. You know, it's always been a competitive relationship because I've always recruited against all those guys. One of my former players is the running back coach there. You know, that also ages me a little bit too. But, you know, so it's always been a competitive, you know, type atmosphere with those guys. They always do a great job. They did it with Coach Beamer, and it hasn't changed with Coach Fuente.
Getting back to Bud, what do you think his legacy is? I mean, he's retiring here. What do you think his legacy is down at Virginia Tech?
I mean, he's greatness. You know, I mean, he's, you know, with him and Coach Beamer, you can't think of one without the other. You know, they kind of go together. You know, just think about the era that and the defenses that they've put together since he's been there. He's been about as good as there is anywhere in the country, you know, and as consistent as there has been anywhere in the country. And we all strive to be somewhere as long as he's been at Virginia Tech. That's hard to do in this business.